It was massive for me. It was very beautiful and very moving, and I started crying towards the end, partly because I knew what would happen, but it was really moving in a way that I hadn't realised just by writing it somehow. I was very proud. And I liked it that people laughed at some of the funny bits. I liked that. And I could see everyone's heads. I didn't really want to look around at anyone because it would have been embarrassing. But it was very big, lovely, fantastic. Because writers are solitary people. We sit at a table, with our notebooks and laptops, and it's a very solitary pursuit. It's not something that you get in a crowd with very often. That's what I find anyway. Well, the story was written, I didn't plan the story. It just, these women appeared and got their own stories as I went along. I'm a mother myself. I know the fear, the terror of, I think what they had in common was they'd both lost a child. So the Fae, who couldn't have a child, loved the child who ran away. I think the two women in the story, their link to children was, one Fae couldn't have children, but Dawn could have a child, but she still lost him. And so it's that whole concept with the baby slipping away. It's kind of got a bit of a rabbit connotation as well, like rabbits breeding, and it's the fine line between being a mother and not being a mother is quite a thing, because by the end of it, Dawn was no longer mother of a child that was near her. He'd gone. As far as feeling sorry for people, or compassion, Dawn wasn't a great mother to her son, but she loved him. He was accused of assaulting his sister, and there's a compassion there as well, because I don't know if it's clear in the story or not, but he's innocent. Well, you're never free. As soon as you have a child, you're never free of that child. You're always responsible, and no matter what they do. And I think Dawn was very ashamed of her son, but she still went looking for him. I love that time of day, golden hour. I travel the roads a lot. I live in the country. I love that time of afternoon when everything goes golden and pink. So I wanted to write something about it, but it's also, that time of day is full of hope. And Dawn sitting on the bus searching the whole of Australia to see if she can catch a glimpse of her son. There's a lot of futility in that. And so I just like that idea of futility in the golden bliss of that country, and what Dawn makes of it, which is something. It's not hope. She sort of gives up and comes home, but there's it's sort of an acceptance or a greater understanding, and she has looked for him. It's part of a story cycle I'm writing. There's about 16 stories all about Quinn and what does happen to him after he runs away. And so I guess in the context of all those stories, you might find out what does happen next and what happens to Dawn, and but you'll have to wait until they're published. I don't know that it's conscious. I haven't learned to write, but I do travel around a bit, and I have been to the rabbit factory in Texas, Queensland, for example, and learnt all about the rabbit industry. And I do have a cat that killed a mouse. I think things just sort of pile up in my brain, and they sift out and make stories. And I think just the act of sitting, writing and polishing can make things sort of slump into place as they belong. It takes me 6 months or more to write a story, so I just keep thinking and turning over and pondering and writing 100 drafts and notebooks of words, and it just rearranges itself by itself somehow. So there's not a lot of planning in it, is what I'm saying. Well, I live in a country town, so maybe like parts of the city as well. There is a community sits together, whether people are like-minded or not. They might support each other. One of the ideas for that story did come because I received a cheque in the mail myself a few years ago for about $600 or something that had been owed my grandmother from her neighbour in the 60s, and the cheque finally found its way to me. And I really don't know what the money was lent for, but I know that it took 30 or 40 years to be that debt to be paid. And it was a very subtle, neighbourly thing. Maybe the rest of the family didn't know that it had happened or what it was for. But it is, for me, something that a woman neighbour might do for another woman. I think I take a perverse joy in holding things back and making people work. I think when I read, I like to work it out for myself. I like writers who can convey enough for me to understand what's going on without spelling it out. That's what I enjoy, so I try to do that too. Because I've lived there for about 35 years, it's just a place I know really well, and I walk a lot and ride my bicycle around, and I see things and I hear things, and it's just there's a richness to it that I don't want to go to Italy for a week and try to make something up about someplace there, because I just like that detail of Grafton. And Grafton's quite a daggy town. It's close to Byron Bay, but it's nothing like Byron Bay. And it's quite old and traditional, which makes it interesting for me. Yeah, I wrote a story about maybe 6 years ago about this guy who's accused of assaulting his sister, and I just thought it was interesting. I heard of a kid who ran away and never came back, and I just started thinking, why did he run away? What did he do that we're so ashamed of, that he could never come back? And then what happens to him in his life, and what happens to his mother, and what does the sister think about it? And he's innocent, by the way. What's her life like then? And what about his father? What are the relationships like that he makes in his life? What happens when he's old? Does he ever go back? So much to think of from that one simple, thing, running away. And it should be a novel, but I don't write novels. I write short stories. So I just wanted to keep exploring all those questions through stories about different parts of Quinn's life and the people who knew him. I really loved coming here tonight. It was worth every mile coming down to see that very luxurious stage with the red curtain and the light, you know, all the people's heads and the wine glasses, and that the atmosphere is very fantastic. I was very honoured to have my story read. I know that if I had to read my story, I'd be embarrassed and I'd mumble and I'd go too fast and I would never do justice to it. But Suzi was so confident, and she really, she got the story, she understood it, and she did a wonderful job. And I was moved. I thought, that's really moving and wonderful. Story Saloon is a fantastic idea. It's how we should be, listening to stories read by really great actors. And I'm very grateful to Jane and her helpers, her staff, everyone, for putting this night on. It was really good. I'll always remember it.